Hello and welcome to the video lecture associated with the transaction steps that have to happen in a distributed database management system. Database management systems have transactions, and if you're going to make changes and updates to the data, those transactions have to be controlled. But a transaction in a distributed database environment is a little bit more complicated than a transaction in a local centralized database management system. So here, if we've got a local transaction, so we're making a change to our local database management system node, the application, first of all, makes a request to the distributed database management system to get a lock, right? The distributed database management system checks the data repository for the location of the data, and it finds that it's local. Then the distributed database management system sends that request for that transaction to the local database management system. The local database management system processes the request. The local database management system sends the result to the application locally, since it doesn't have to go anywhere. So that is what happens in a local transaction. So you can see that in this graphic. So we're not going into the cloud. So we've got an application program, makes a request to the distributed database management system, which goes to the data repository. The data repository says that you don't have to go to the cloud. This information is local. That the distributed database management system goes to the local database management system, which grabs the information, returns that information to the application program. So basically, everything happens locally. So this is an efficient means of processing this request. So again, if we're in a heterogeneous environment and we're working in the manufacturing node and we're asking a manufacturing question, we don't need to leave our local site. All of our information will be in our local database management system. Conversely, if we have to make a global transaction, once again, the application makes the request to the distributed database management system. The distributed database management system does a check in the data repository, the distributed data repository, and finds that the data is not local, so it's remote. The distributed database management system routes the request to the remote site where it knows it resides, because it knows that from the data repository. The distributed database management system at the remote site translates the request for its local database management system and then sends the request to the local database management system. Then it gets the request gets processed at the local site. Then the results get sent to the distributed database management system at the remote site, the origination site. And then the remote distributed database management system, the originating site sends the results to the application. So again, taking a quick look at how this works graphically, the application goes to the local DBMS. Local DBMS realizes that it has to go to the distributed site, goes to the distributed site makes the request to its local database management system, which returns the information to the distributed database management system, which then communicates it back to the originating site, which hands the information to the application program. So again, and this gets more complicated when you've got, for instance, horizontally partitioned information that has to be unioned amongst a number of different distributed sites. But to keep it simple, we'll leave it at this. So this is the end of the video lecture associated with the transaction steps that are taken in a distributed database environment.